GM, everybody. Welcome to Product Office Hours. I don't know what number this is. I don't know how many we've had. But welcome. We've had a lot of them. Today's office hours is going to be pretty short and sweet. We have a lot going on and a lot on our plates, and Product decided we would like to keep it simple for today because we want to get back to our heads down and collaboration time. For those of you who want to follow along visually, we have a Zoom link in the stage chat that you can see what we're sharing. But I'm going to go ahead and share in there and go over today's agenda. See how I... All right. So assuming you guys can see that because there's a green highlight. Today we're going to talk about multiple accounts. This is something that we need in app.shapeshift.com to support the migration of Keep Key users when we sunset beta. So this has been prioritized on the product side. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We've been working on a new trade UI with all of these different protocols that we're integrating and these advanced features we'd like to add, and a bunch of other things that we need to add for various different reasons. We need to redo the trade UI to accommodate a variety of things. So Beard will talk through and showcase some of that. And then I'll talk about the shared goals. Willie's welcome to jump up and for that part as well. But we put together some shared goals with marketing. And then I will show you, we are at about, I think we just today will hit 3 weeks of data in Pendo. So I'll just go over high level kind of what we're seeing. And then in the future, we'll actually be, generating reports and sharing more meaningful data once we have that first full month. That'll kind of give us our baseline to go off of. And then Decentralized J has been working on a spec for Beefy Finance. This is a LP, stake your LP tokens or staking, the protocol that is on Avalanche and a bunch of other chains. So while they don't necessarily have a revenue model in place right now, we think this could be a great user acquisition play, and awesome for all of our users that are on Avalanche. So he's going to talk through that. And then at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A with the community. But again, yeah, short schedule today. So I'll just make sure there are no questions in the stage chat. I'll answer that PTT. I will post an announcement. We're going to change up a little bit how we're doing the releases on the product side with ops and how the testing is going to work. So I will post that in the ops chat later today. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take it away. So handling multiple accounts. So I've been working through the spec on this one. I think, anyway, the goal, like I said before, is to enable multiple accounts. We're going to start with keep key users, and then we could roll this out to other wallets that support multiple accounts as well. The high-level objectives are to give the ability for users to view and access their accounts beyond just account 0. On keep keys in particular, a lot of users have assets on account 1 and account 2. Our goal is to automatically crawl the first 3 accounts where the majority of the assets are, and then users would still be able to manually add additional accounts. One of the reasons we didn't want to crawl endless accounts because it could take a while to load those users' data. So we thought a quick win here. And again, we are trying to get the quick wins because this is just one of those last pieces that we need in order to sunset beta. So we've been trying to identify ways to get this feature in. That's still a great user experience, but as quick as possible. And then we want to give the users ability to create new accounts on the wallets that support this in the future. And so this will affect the dashboard, the accounts page, asset pages, transaction history, and specific actions like send, receive, buy, sell, and trade. They'll all be affected by this feature. And then, like I said before, we're going to allow automatic detection on newly connected wallet through account 3. While it is not going to directly bring in revenue, this feature will support the keep key users who typically have a high value of assets on their wallets, since they are hardware wallets. This would allow these users to easily use the features in our web app that do generate revenue for the DAO. So with that, I'm going to jump into a little bit of what this would look like. So our accounts page right now, this is actually going outside. Our accounts page right now supports multiple accounts for Bitcoin, for example. Like some people have Legacy, SegWit, SegWit Native. So we're going to use that same structure and just kind of roll it up a level. So Beard put together this fancy layout, which is really awesome. So the chain level, each chain would have like its own color. So in this case, Ethereum is blue to match their icon. They would see the aggregated balance across all of their ETH and ERC20 assets and accounts. If they expanded this and they had multiple accounts, they would see the roll up of those 2 accounts. And then they could expand and see on account 0 what assets exist within account 0. And then, let's see, on Bitcoin, for example, so if a user has multiple Bitcoin accounts, they would see Bitcoin account 0 and account 1. And then if they expanded that and they had SegWit Native, SegWit, and Legacy in there, they would also see the breakdown of those. So again, this is a really nice roll up on the accounts page, but this is just, again, only one touch point across the UI that is going to be affected by this. So this is something we are scrambling to get ready on the product side to kick off development, and get this shipped as soon as humanly possible. I'll just see if there's any questions in the stage chat. Okay, Gray Machine's asking for a screen share on Twitch. Anybody has that? Okay, let's see. No other questions. I am going to jump into the next thing. So the new trade UI, this one, there's a lot of tickets that are gonna come out of this one, and advanced trade features are gonna follow up on this one, but I will let Beard take it away on sharing. He's been working through actually building out the UI. So let me.
Thank you. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. All right. So we've been working on the designs for this, and then I've also just been going ahead and speccing out the UI so that Apotheosis can follow up behind me and hook it all up. But you should see immediately that this is a familiar, input that we're kind of using around across the DeFi stuff. So we're bringing these in anywhere we use assets. And you see your balance now, which is great. You see the fiat amount for both assets, all the stuff you see on the DeFi stuff. And then the thing we did change now is you have an expected amount, which is super important for like CowSwap or I guess Thorchain for that matter. So if you click on expected amount, you'll get a breakdown of exactly what's happening here. So before the fees, this would be your like, if I had 100 Fox in there, and then it would subtract the protocol fee, ShapeShift fee, which is $0, and then you get the minimum expected amount after slippage. So the users can visualize exactly what's happening and how much they're expected to actually get out of the trade. Because all the different protocols do subtract some fees, and CowSwap takes it from the receiving asset, and so does Thorchain.
Yeah, it's worth noting that each protocol we've integrated, CowSwap, 0x, and Thorchain all handle this differently. So we had to make the UI accommodate depending on where the user's trade is getting routed through. So there was a lot of details to work through here.
Yeah.
Beard crush.
And then, yeah, I mean, I guess the only other thing is the loading state here. This stuff will all fill in as you're working on it. And then if you go to preview trade, this is, oh boy, I need to switch it back. So we've removed the like connecting amounts here because we're running into issues because of like really long assets with a bunch of precision. So now you'll have send and you'll have expected amount in a nice like linear receipt style. And then you can expand this again just to get, if you want more information again about what is happening with the expected amount. That's pretty much it for the actual changes here. It's not like crazy or anything, but I think it's going to be super useful for users, and you'll be able to see like why am I getting this much money? And then I wanted to go over just real quick the different right, yeah. So this is what a Thorchain trade would look like. This is what a 0x trade would look like, and then a CowSwap trade. Just so you can see how it breaks down. All right, that's good. Any questions about this?
Also, it's worth noting here on that mockup, you can see in the upper right-hand corner, there's a settings icon. So we are going to have trade settings on the trade page itself. And then in the confirm screen, we're going to have some advanced TX settings like custom nonce, gas, things like that. Their advanced settings will have the ability to pick liquidity sources. Oh, there you go. You have it down there.
So if you click on the little thing here, this is basically what you'll be able to change the max slippage and liquidity sources for the trade. And then if you were to go on the confirm screen, you'll have a transaction settings. And these are going to be things that are specific to the transaction. Oh boy. So you'll have the gas price, and then under advanced settings, you'll have the nonce. And then we're going to tell them this is crazy advanced, bro. You sure?
That's exact. That's the final copy.
So yeah, we're still working out exactly how that's going to look, but that's kind of the idea there for that. All right.
Cool. I don't see any questions, just some props. Thanks, guys. Cool. Okay, so next on the agenda is the shared goals. Willie, feel free to hop up if you want.
GM Diggy, GM everybody.
GM. So this is something we worked out with Lindsay last week. Let me see, I was trying to share on, getting confused. I was trying to share on Discord and realized that that's the wrong place. Where is that? There. Yes. Cool. So we put together some top level shared goals for product and marketing. And basically we want these goals to be trackable very easily. I'm going to change these into SMART goals as Ocean requested. I think that's a good idea to put some more detail around how we're going to accomplish these goals. But high level, here's what they are. So business targets, we're going to be looking at a 15% month-over-month growth in total users after the first baseline. So that is 1 month after we launch Pendo. So I think that's next Thursday. That will give us our 1 month baseline. And then we'll be targeting a 15% month-over-month growth in total users. But we're going to have a second baseline established 1 month after migration from beta has started. So we're still going to be looking to increase the growth in users, but then like 2 months later, we'll have a new baseline. I guess maybe it'll be, 2 months later, we'll have a new baseline, and we'll still be targeting that 15% month-over-month growth target. Would love to hear some feedback from actually Eric in the future. This was a similar goal that we had when we were centralized, and I thought it was a really good one to carry over into the DAO. And then fiat ramp providers, we're just going to be looking to get a 10% month-over-month growth in fiat purchases, not tracking amounts, just tracking the number of purchases for now, just because, as you guys know, the market's a bear market right now and the value of things changes a lot. And then trade volume. So 80% of trades are going to be routed through CowSwap. This will decrease our 0x numbers. This is a product only measurement, but basically we know that our 0x numbers are going to go down because we're going to have more volume going through CowSwap. And we are working with them right now on what that rev share agreement looks like. And then we're hoping, because of growth in users, to be able to target a 15% month-over-month growth in trade volume from baseline. So we're going to be using our 0x numbers as the baseline for this. And then DeFi protocols, our top level goal is that we're going to want a 20% increase in staked assets. And again, we didn't assign a TVL on this because with assets going up and down so much right now, we thought it just didn't seem like a realistic goal because the value could go up and down 10% by the day. And then we want to increase, so users depositing each month into these protocols would increase 20% month-over-month. And Justin will be going over BP Finance later to kind of show another protocol that we would like to integrate going forward. And then we have some other just more specific metrics we're looking at on the product side and still working through those. But these are the top level shared goals that we have with marketing.
I don't think you needed me up here at all. You crushed it.
Sorry, there's a question. Is 15% month-over-month sustainable, achievable?
It's a great question. I think 15% increase is obviously easier when you're working with a smaller number to start with. So we do think it's a good goal to set. Certainly, it's not going to be easy to hit that, but we think it's an attainable, realistic goal that we want to pursue. As we start to get higher, if we're doing well and we get into higher numbers of active users, as we increase by orders of magnitude, for example, then it very well would make sense to decrease this month-over-month growth goal. But for now, we think it's a good goal.
Yeah, and it was carried over from centralized ShapeShift. It was a pretty aggressive goal. Some months we hit it, some months we exceeded it, some months we fell short, but overall, my recollection is that we generally hit that goal. But yes, it is a little bit aggressive. And then, is it 15% on number of trades or the value of trades? Right now, it's going to be on the number of trades.
We do have it listed right now as trade volume.
Is it volume? Yeah.
Yes, which I like tracking volume as well, although to your point, it can be trickier with the change in asset prices, but that is something that we have been looking at, is both number of traders, number of trades, and month-over-month trade volume.
Sorry, I was confused on that one. Yeah, I think also we should look at both.
Yeah. Part of the idea here too, it's worth noting, is that instead of focusing on kind of like specific protocols and saying, oh, we want to see 15% month-over-month increase in trade volume on CowSwap and on Thorchain and on Osmosis and tracking all of those individually. Similarly with the DeFi protocols and the fiat ramp providers, we just want to track in the aggregate. We want to see an increase in overall fiat purchases, overall assets staked in the yield generating protocols, overall trade volume, as opposed to setting goals for each specific protocol and tracking that all separately.
HPN is asking, hold on. Are we counting this in dollar or token quantity? Wasn't completely following.
So we just mentioned like for trade volume, that would be tracking with dollars terms, because it'd be tough to basically track like the trade volume for each token there. For these DeFi protocols, there are, when we can track just the increase in staked assets, like for Cosmos, for example, we do want to focus on that and make sure that not only are we seeing growth because the price of Cosmos is going up, but are we seeing growth because we're having more atoms actually staked? So wherever we can track just the increase in kind of the token quantity as opposed to the fiat value, we are going to be tracking that token quantity. For things like trade volume, it's just much easier and more useful if we're just tracking that overall trade volume. But to your point, we will have to note that it's impacted by the market.
Okay, never was this typing. I want to see if there's another question coming.
Pressure's on, never was.
Okay, so we'll see what their questions are. But next, I was going to show you guys where we're at with our MAUs on Pendo, and I wanted to see if anybody wants to guess how many monthly active users we have right now before I show that slide.
Yeah, and to answer your point, we're not saying that we're gonna not track these protocols, but in terms of goal setting, previously we were setting success metrics kind of for each new feature launched, and when discussing it with marketing, we agreed that in terms of what we're going to be setting goals for and reporting to on the community, it would be more useful if we focus kind of on those aggregated metrics. But definitely, hey, we shouldn't stop tracking this protocol information.
So. Thank you, Willie. PTT, are you guessing there's 400 monthly active users? Okay. You're wrong.
Any other guesses? Yeah.
Yeah, any other guesses? Arena says 300. Okay. So right now on app.shapeshift.com, our monthly active users is 5,335, and this is only with 3 weeks of tracking. So my assumption is based on our daily active user. Right now, daily active users is around 300. Sometimes it's a little lower, sometimes a little higher. But my assumption is by next week, it'll be somewhere over the $6,000 point. I mean, $6,000 monthly active, 6,000 monthly active users. I don't know why I'm talking about dollars. Daily. Cool. All right. So yeah, so let's just take a look at some of this. Again, we're still just trying to establish our baselines and just monitor things and make sure things are tracking properly. Device usage, we have a lot more mobile users, I think, than we expected. We're almost at 40% mobile. I think once the app is using app.shapeshift.com, I expect that to go up even a lot more. And then our most used features, the wallet drop down makes sense. Assets in the global nav is our most clicked navigation item, and then dashboard, accounts. The search box, this one is kind of surprised us. A lot of people are using search. And then I wanted to highlight a couple of things which I thought was interesting. One of the things I was looking at is mobile users, like if our mobile users are using DeFi and using our DeFi section, and they are. We have a lot of DeFi users on mobile, which is awesome. There's page views and like just the different things that they're doing across mobile. And then I was looking at this against KeepKey, for example, but we don't have a lot of keep key users yet. So you can see mobile users, obviously there are a lot more of them using DeFi than our keep key users, but we also have a lot more mobile users than we do keep key users. So these are just kind of some of the things we've been looking at and just making sure everything's tracking properly. And we've been making segments to start like categorizing and making buckets for the different types of users. But again, we're just going to continue to monitor this, and then we will probably not next time, but the time after that, we'll go over some of the reports and stuff that we've put together and just identifying like what our users are most actively engaged with, and where they're going, and where some potential pain points that we might have exist. So yeah, but this is where we're at right now. So we're super excited. I think all of us were pleasantly surprised by the number of MAU, the monthly active users that we have. Some people thought it was going to be a lot less than that. So, and then once we do the migration, we're super excited to see where that goes. Sorry, sometimes I just monologue.
That's a great monologue. So much good data. Love to see it. And yeah, really excited to see that the MAUs that we are seeing so far are clearly a lot higher than a lot of us were expecting. Ron has a question. Last time we talked about getting ops user numbers to be excluded from the details. Any chance we could put together a how-to to get your unique user ID per wallet / browser? Sweet, Beard, I'm glad. It sounds like you might have an idea for how to do this. Do you know, is there any way right now, like can users go into the console and grab their user ID for Pendo? Is there any way for users to be able to get their visitor ID?
Yeah, there should be. I'll figure it out.
Thanks, Beard. We
Cool,
got you, Ron.
thank you. Cool. If there are no other questions, okay, I will pass it off to Decentralized J for Beefy Finance. Okay, I sent you an invite. There you go.
Everybody. Beefy Finance. Let me share my screen on the Zoom. But so we were talking last week about what would be a product that would add some yield offerings that would be exciting for our users going forward, and also give kind of composability for multiple chains. So for those of you unfamiliar with Beefy Finance, just going to run you through it real quick, because the actual implementation into ShapeShift is nothing crazy. So Beefy Finance is an awesome decentralized multi-chain yield optimizer. Basically, it's a aggregator for all kinds of vaults across our staking options, LPs, single-sided, you name it, across 16 different chains. ShapeShift supporting ETH and Avalanche now will be, of course, just 2. But as ShapeShift grows and adds more chains, it gives the option to kind of plug and play and have yield opportunities for the users on all the chains that follow. So super excited about this one. Just going to note that Beefy, if you are familiar, allows users to what you call zap their assets into a given pool. That is not included in this, since that requires a considerable amount of lift on the engineering side. So just wanted to make that note. But otherwise, everything else that Beefy Finance does is included in this spec. So Beefy also gives a ton of very cool information about kind of breaking down. They have a proprietary safety score. They have different information on the strategy, including where the yield actually comes from, which as a DeFi degen myself, that's super important to me. And then they also offer information about how to secure your deposit and insure it. So some of these features will be making their way across and hopping from Beefy to ShapeShift. Some of them may be following later, and some of them may not make the jump. But that's kind of where we're at right now in putting together this spec. Beefy has a ton of great options for users. I'm not going to walk you all through the deposit and withdrawal flow. It's super straightforward. It's just like depositing into a Yearn vault or anything else on ShapeShift, or pretty much anything else that you're familiar with. There are really no weird bumps and pieces in the road, but just kind of want to give a little bit of an overview of what's coming down the pipeline. And yeah, I'll check the stage chat. But super stoked about Beefy Finance coming to ShapeShift. It really does kind of feel like, we're doing cow swap and Beefy Finance. So there's something cow related going on here, but I'm not mad about it. So that's all I got.
So PTT was asking about the rev share for Beefy. There's not one that we know of just yet, but we are going to reach out and see if there's a potential way to get one, because they do add a fee that's calculated into the APR that they take. So it would be really nice if they would be open to some kind of rev share.
Yes, and we did look to see if there were any other yield generating protocols on Avalanche that offer the affiliate rev share, and didn't identify any. Beefy is one of the top yield generating protocols on Avalanche, and we thought it was compelling because, like Justin mentioned, it's on it's on 15 other chains as well. So it will enable us to, whenever we add support for these other EVM chains, have a yield generating opportunity ready to go. To Diggy's point, they do have a protocol fee, so it's definitely plausible that they'd be able to share a percentage of that with interfaces that drive volume. On just this broader note, there's going to be times where there are features that we want to add that don't immediately bring revenues, but part of the idea too is that as we do have more of these opportunities where we do have some affiliate revenues and can eventually reward users with Fox, if we can use that to attract a lot of the powered DeFi users that are already using a lot of these protocols and would be happy to come use them through ShapeShift if it means earning some extra Fox that they wouldn't otherwise earn. And we can start building those network effects. We can have more leverage in the future to even go directly to these communities and propose these revenue shares. But as we work on building those network effects, there might be some features that we still want to integrate that we don't yet have the affiliate revenue program live, and that we don't yet have the leverage to negotiate for. So just wanted to mention that, but definitely it is the type of protocol that should be able to offer those affiliate revenues, and it is community owned as well. So it is a type where we can just go directly to the community and make the proposal when we're ready.
Well said. Cool. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, we were trying to keep it short and sweet today, just so that we can get back to being heads down and working through all the stuff we need to get through on multiple accounts. And is there any other questions or any other ideas anybody would like to bring to product? Now is the time.